From our Toronto studios, this is the Muslim News on Muslim Network TV. Assalamu alaikum, I'm Aishah Ashraf. Our top story for today: directors of the Oscar-winning documentary No Other Land on life under Israeli military occupation are urging global action against injustice faced by Palestinians. Speaking at the 97th Academy Awards on Sunday, Palestinian co-director Bassel Adra called for an end to ethnic cleansing in the Israeli-occupied West Bank. He expressed hope that his newborn daughter would not endure the same hardships he faces.
About 2 months ago, I became a father, and my hope to my daughter that she will not have to live the same life I'm living now, always fearing settlers' violence, home demolitions, and forest bill displacements that my community, Masafir Yatta, is living and facing every day under the Israeli occupation. No other land reflect the harsh reality that we have been enduring for decades and still persist, as we call on the world to take serious actions to stop the injustice and to stop the ethnic cleansing of Palestinian people.
Israeli co-director Yuval Abraham described Adra as his brother, but lamented their unequal treatment under Israeli law. He condemned the destruction in Gaza and called for an end to violence on both sides. He also criticized U.S. foreign policy for blocking peace efforts.
When I look at Bassel, I see my brother, but we are unequal. We live in a regime where I am free under civilian law, and Bassel is under military laws that destroy his life and he cannot control. There is a different path, a political solution without ethnic supremacy, with national rights for both of our people. And I have to say, as I am here, the foreign policy in this country is helping to block this path.
Despite critical acclaim, the film has struggled to secure theatrical release in the U.S., which the filmmakers attributed to political sensitivities. It was instead shown in select independent theaters and through digital screenings. An Illinois landlord has been found guilty of a hate crime and the murder of a 6-year-old Palestinian American boy. A jury convicted 73-year-old Joseph Chuba for stabbing Wadi Al-Fayumi to death and attacking his mother, Hanan Shaheen, on October 14, 2023 in Plainfield, Illinois. Prosecutors said Chuba targeted them because of their Muslim faith in the early days of Israel's war on Gaza. Jurors deliberated for less than 90 minutes before delivering the verdict. Wadi's father, Ode Al-Fayumi, said justice came too late for his son. The boy's mother did not speak after the verdict. Prominent civil rights lawyer Ben Crump called the ruling a measure of justice, but urged action against rising hate. During the trial, evidence was presented, including police footage and photos of the crime scene. Wadi was stabbed 26 times, with the knife still in his body. Chuba's sentencing is set for May 2nd. He pleaded not guilty, but the jury said the evidence was overwhelming. Police testified the officers found Chuba outside the house sitting on the ground with blood on his body and hands. Separately, civil lawsuits have been filed over the boy's death, including by his father, who was divorced from Shaheen and was not living with them when Wadi was killed. The UK's Cambridge University has lost a legal bid to ban Palestine solidarity protests on campus for 5 years. The university sought a high court injunction to prevent demonstrations at 4 sites until 2030. Lawyers argued the ban was urgent ahead of Saturday's graduation ceremony. However, Justice Michael Fordham rejected the long-term injunction, calling it a matter of significant concern. He noted that the university failed to provide enough time for responses. The judge instead approved a narrow order restricting protests only at the Senate House and its lawn during the graduation. He also noted 10 previous ceremonies had gone ahead without disruption. The case followed encampments by Cambridge for Palestine in May and November, along with another protest at Greenwich House. The European Legal Support Center, which opposed the injunction, hailed the ruling as a victory for freedom of assembly. It criticized the university's attempt to impose what it said were draconian restrictions. A Cambridge spokesperson welcomed the decision, saying it balances students' rights to graduate with lawful protest rights. The court confirmed the injunction does not undermine free speech. Secretary of State Marco Rubio has signed an emergency declaration to speed up the delivery of $4 billion in U.S. military aid to Israel. Rubio said the move reverses the Biden administration's partial arms embargo, ensuring that Israel gets weapons and ammunition previously withheld. He said the move is proof that Israel has no greater ally than President Donald Trump. The decision follows the State Department's approval of $3 billion in foreign military sales, including munitions, guidance kits, and Caterpillar D9 bulldozers. Rubio cited an emergency requiring immediate action, bypassing congressional review. Since Trump took office in January, his administration has approved nearly $12 billion in military sales to Israel. Rubio said this aligns with Trump's repeal of Biden-era restrictions on military aid. The Trump administration vows continued support for Israel's security, using all available tools to counter threats. The U.S. has faced criticism for backing Israel's genocide in Gaza amid allegations of violations of international and U.S. laws. Israel faces genocide charges at the International Court of Justice. The International Criminal Court has also issued arrest warrants for war crimes against Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and former Defense Minister Yoav Gallant. Israel has halted humanitarian aid to Gaza after the first phase of truce ended. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's office claims the move was due to Hamas refusing to extend the truce. All goods and supplies to Gaza are halted, a statement said, warning of further consequences. Israeli media reports the decision was coordinated with the U.S. Far-right Israeli politician Itamar Ben-Gvir welcomed the move, urging Israel to cut electricity and water while resuming the war. The Palestinian media office has condemned the aid blockade, calling it genocide by starvation. The first phase of truce, which began January 19th, ended at midnight Saturday. Hamas has refused to proceed to the next phase, demanding a full Israeli withdrawal and a permanent end to the war. Netanyahu, however, wants to extend exchanges without making concessions. On Sunday, Israel reportedly agreed to a temporary truce during Ramadan, following a U.S. envoy's proposal. Israel targeted a civilian neighborhood in Beit Hanun in northern Gaza, killing 2 Palestinians from the Misri family. Relatives received the bodies of the victims of the strike from the Indonesian hospital on Sunday, March 2nd. Israel's genocide has killed more than 60,000 Palestinians, mostly women and children. It faces genocide charges at the International Court of Justice. The International Criminal Court has also issued arrest warrants for war crimes against humanity for Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and his former Defense Minister Yoav Gallant. Tesla takedown, protests spread, 9 arrested in New York. Details come after the break. Stay tuned and we will be right back.
Assalamu alaikum. This is the largest refugee camp in the world. 1 million people are sitting here, doing nothing essentially, cannot study, cannot have a living, and world has to give them, feed them bit by bit, little bit of food. I find children, all skinny children around me, and they are wondering what's our future. Since I came from America, they're asking me this question, what's the future for us? Please, join Burma Task Force. It's a coalition of 38 organizations. Support Burma Task Force, join Justice for All. Let's change the future for 1 million people sitting here in the world's largest refugee camp for 7 years. Join now.
Welcome back. 9 people were arrested in Manhattan as protests against Elon Musk's leadership escalated across the U.S. The Tesla takedown movement organized rallies outside Tesla dealerships nationwide. In New York, approximately 300 protesters gathered outside a Tesla showroom. A small group entered the store, forcing employees to shut it down temporarily. Police confirmed the arrests but have not released charges. Similar demonstrations took place in Florida and Arizona, where protesters blocked roads and held signs like "Burn a Tesla, Save Democracy." The protest targeted Musk's role in the Department of Government Efficiency, where his policies have led to mass layoffs and canceled aid programs in the U.S. government. Activists aim to weaken Tesla financially by urging investors to divest. Actor Alex Winter, a key organizer, called it a vote of no confidence against Musk. The movement has also gained traction in Europe. Demonstrations were also reported in London, Barcelona, and Berlin, where environmental activists stormed a Tesla factory. Despite the backlash, Musk's fortune remains high at $359 billion, though Tesla's stock has been volatile amid the unrest. President Donald Trump has signed an executive order making English the official language of the United States. Trump said English has always been the national language and it is time to make it official. He argued the move will help newcomers integrate, participate in traditions, and contribute to society. The order reverses a 25-year-old directive by former President Bill Clinton, which required federal agencies to provide language assistance to non-English speakers. Critics say the order will harm immigrant communities and further marginalize non-English speaking communities. Trump insists the decision will promote unity, streamline government communication, and reinforce national values. The order follows his administration's crackdown on migration. On his first day in office, Trump removed the Spanish language version of the White House website and social media accounts. Spanish is the second most spoken language in the U.S. The U.S. Census report says 62% of non-English speakers at home use Spanish. Trump has often mocked non-English speakers. During his 2024 campaign, he claimed migrants who do not speak English are being dropped into communities. The order aligns with his immigration policies, which includes mass deportations. Pardoned Capitol rioter Matthew Huddle was shot dead by an Indiana deputy during a traffic stop in January. Officials say Huddle told the officer, "I'm shooting myself," before reaching for a gun. Body cam footage shows the deputy firing multiple shots before killing Huddle. Prosecutors ruled the shooting legally justified and so no charges will be filed. Huddle had been pardoned by President Donald Trump just 6 days before his death. He had served 6 months in prison for breaching the U.S. Capitol on January 6, 2021. His uncle, Dale Huddle, got 30 months for attacking a police officer. Police stopped Huddle for speeding and attempted to arrest him for being a habitual traffic offender. He resisted, struggled with the deputy, and reached for a loaded 9mm pistol in his car. The officer fired, killing him. Trump's pardon of Capitol rioters has sparked criticism, including from police unions. Some pardoned rioters have since faced new legal troubles, including gun charges and violent crimes. CNN reports that Russian and Chinese spies are trying to recruit federal workers fired due to mass layoffs under the Department of Government Efficiency, or Doge. Foreign adversaries are aggressively targeting those laid off as part of President Donald Trump's plan to downsize the government. The focus is on ex-employees with security clearances and knowledge of critical infrastructure. At least 2 unidentified nations have set up recruitment websites and are using platforms like LinkedIn to approach these workers. Thousands have already been fired, with more expected to follow. The layoffs stem from Trump's Doge executive order to eliminate what he has called government waste and bloat through the agency led by tech billionaire Elon Musk. Intelligence officials say adversaries see these workers as vulnerable and easy targets for espionage. Inside the CIA, concerns are growing about national security risks. Fired spies could expose classified information or agency operations. Meanwhile, foreign agents are reportedly using LinkedIn, TikTok, and Reddit to locate and approach potential recruits. A redacted intelligence report warns these countries are taking advantage of the chaos to infiltrate U.S. security. Officials remain on high alert as foreign nations attempt to exploit America's internal shakeup. Another batch of 12 Indians deported from the U.S. arrived in India with electronic tracking devices attached to their legs. The tags were removed only after reaching the North Indian city of Amritsar. The people had been detained in Panama before being sent back on a Turkish Airlines flight. They were originally from Punjab, Haryana, and Uttar Pradesh provinces. Jagraj Singh from Punjab said the tracking devices contained their personal details and hotel information. He also recalled harsh treatment at the Tijuana detention camp near the U.S.-Mexico border. Deportees were forced to sit on the floor in extreme cold, denied warm clothing, and given only thin silver sheets for cover. Unlike previous batches, these deportees were not handcuffed or shackled. The deportations are part of the U.S. administration's crackdown on illegal immigration. So far, 344 Indians have been sent back home. These deportations are carried out under the International Organization for Migration's Assisted Voluntary Return Program. Under the program, eligible migrants include those stranded without resources and victims of human trafficking or smuggling. Deportees from India, Iran, Afghanistan, and some other Asian countries were kept at Decapolis Hotel in Panama, heavily guarded by local police. The United Nations has assured Bangladesh of technical support in documenting alleged atrocities committed against Islamic groups under former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. Chief Advisor Muhammad Yunus stressed the need for proper documentation to uncover the truth and ensure justice. He discussed the issue with UN Resident Coordinator Gwen Lewis and Senior Human Rights Advisor Huma Khan in the capital Dhaka. Yunus highlighted the 2013 crackdown on Hifazat-e-Islam protesters, police brutality against Jamaat-e-Islami supporters, and extrajudicial killings. Rights group Ordikar reports 61 deaths in the 2013 crackdown, while 78 more in clashes following a tribunal verdict against Jamaat leader Delwar Hussain Saidi. The tribunal faced global criticism for lacking fair trial standards. The UN also accused Hasina's Awami League government of crimes against humanity. Lewis confirmed the UN's commitment to assisting in the documentation process. She added that UN Human Rights Chief Volker Turk will present findings on March 5th. The UN has also raised concerns over a funding shortfall for Rohingya refugees in Bangladesh, with $15 million needed for monthly food supplies. A visit by UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres is expected to bring renewed global focus to the crisis. The World Food Programme has suspended food distribution in Sudan's Zamzam refugee camp. The move is due to intense fighting between the army and the Paramilitary Rapid Support Forces, or RSF. WFP spokesperson Lenny Kinsley warns that thousands in Zamzam face starvation if aid is not restored. She is urging an end to fighting and security guarantees for humanitarian workers. More than 2 million people in 27 locations across Sudan are on the brink of famine. The war between the military and the RSF began in April 2023. It has killed more than 20,000 people and displaced 14 million. Some estimates place the death toll at 130,000. The war now has spread to 13 of Sudan's 18 states. International calls for an end to the violence are growing as fears of a humanitarian catastrophe mount. That's all from our Toronto studios. Thank you for watching Muslim News. We are a community channel dedicated to bringing you stories you can trust. Please like, share, and subscribe to our content. You can also comment to let us know what you think of our coverage. You can donate now by visiting muslimnetwork.tv/donate. For more content, keep watching Muslim Network TV. Salam.